Hi, I'm Jordan, and I am a Shellfish Aquaculture Research Assistant at the Cawthron Institute. My journey how I started, I was always interested in science, but when I was 9 years old, we moved to Nelson from Wellington because my mum got a job at Cawthron. So I've kind of grown up around Cawthron. We moved to Nelson. I went to this very school. It's very weird being back in the hall, but up here. And I got my first job at 15 at Cawthron in the microalgae culture collection. So after school, I would rock up at Cawthron in my school uniform, and I would go help out in the microalgae. I'd be pouring what we call media, which is basically just salt water with some nutrients in it, into little puddles, and then that was my job, pouring water all day. But from there, I got experience in a lab, and I worked out that, I actually really enjoy this lab thing. But for me, the thing I really wanted to do was be a vet. So I went to Massey University in Palmerston North, and I went and did the first semester of veterinary science and did not get in because it turns out very competitive, and while my grades are okay, they're not that great. I'm more of a practical, hands-on kind of person than book smart. So the papers that I took at the beginning of for vet science was very similar to a degree that they call animal science at the university. So I switched into that and ended up doing my bachelor's in animal science. It's very similar to ag science in that it's got a big focus on cows, sheep, chickens, but there is also a component of companion animals, so cats and dogs, and we look at a wide variety of aspects of those animals, so the physiology, nutrition, like hormones and reproduction, and found that I really enjoyed the nutrition part of this project, of that degree. So from there, I went and while I was doing my bachelor's, I got a couple of summer studentships at Plant and Food. So my first 2 years, I was working in the marine products team, where I was extracting collagen from fish skin. So this was working in the lab again, which I really enjoyed, hands-on, very typical scientist kind of environment. But my third year at uni and also with Plant and Food, I moved teams and I went and worked with the seafood production team as they had a summer studentship role which was looking at fish nutrition. So I knew I liked nutrition and cats and dogs, and loved cats and dogs, loved the fluffy animals. Fish, not my cup of tea, never touched them, didn't go fishing. And then suddenly I'm working with fish, surrounded by people that are just picking them up and throwing them around, and I refused to show weakness, so I got stuck in and ended up really enjoying working with fish. We have so many species in New Zealand and we know so little about most of them, especially in regards to nutrition. And so this is where my kind of career moved aside again and went from cats, dogs, and all those fluffy land-based animals, and I ended up moving into the aquaculture realm. So from there, I asked Plant and Food if they would take me on for my master's project. So I ended up doing a master's in animal science through both Plant and Food and Massey University, looking at the protein requirements of silver trevally, which was seen as an emerging finfish species for New Zealand aquaculture. While I was there, I got to work with the other species they had on site, so blue cod, flounder, and I got to work with an amazing group of people. And the exciting thing about doing my master's not at a university but actually at an institute is I got to see what real life jobs were like. And let me tell you, there are some jobs out there that you have never heard of. And I got to try quite a few of them. So from there it was really reinforcing that I did like this whole fish thing. So I decided that a PhD would be where I wanted to go next. And so this is where I really went into marine biology. So my PhD in marine biology was looking at feed efficiency and metabolism in Chinook salmon and looking at why some fish grow better than others while not needing as much food. So here I got to learn lots of different techniques, and I moved to the Cawthron Institute to do this. So new university, new science institute, new group of people. But it was just as great. I got to learn so many different skills. I got to learn I did feeding behaviour, I got to get over my fear of fish and be able to wrangle 4 kilo salmon out of a tank. And yeah, so from my experience doing my PhD, I realised I really loved this hands-on side of it. I liked planning the experiments, I liked executing the experiments, doing the stats and writing up those things as papers. Nah, that wasn't really for me. So I decided that I would go into what I call a research assistant role. So I actually switched from the finfish team into the shellfish team at this point. And I got to do what is it's a technician-based role. So it's all the fun stuff that I really enjoy. It's the hands-on, it's the doing the experiments, and it's working with the scientists to get those experiments done. And then I hand off all that data to them, and then they can do all the boring computer stuff. And then I get to go on another experiment and do the things that I enjoy. So some of the stuff I really enjoy in this role is the diversity of the animals I get to work with. Yes, they're all shellfish, but they're all so different. There's oysters, we have mussels, geoducks, scallops, and the type of research we do is very varied. We do larval rearing. As mentioned before, I make baby shellfish. So there's baby oysters and baby geoducks in those photos, but also we look at climate change, we look at the physiology, and we look at aquaculture production type research as well. No day is ever the same in this job, I have to say. I also have the benefit of being able to go out on field trips. We have some scallops out there that we're monitoring to see their growth. We look at lots of different experiments. Go out on the mussel farms, see some dolphins every now and then. And I get to share my knowledge in lots of different ways, like here tonight with you guys, at conferences, and the open days that we do. But yeah, so across all these different roles, I've learnt different skills, and you can take them across any job you want, but you find the thing that you really like, and that for me was the practical side, so I've taken that. And the team that you work with while you do it makes a huge difference. So you can get dirty, stuck in a tank cleaning it, or wrangling fish that you thought you'd never like, but I think just trying things when those opportunities come to you kind of lead you to a job that you never thought that you would end up having, and that's how I ended up in marine biology. Thank you.